Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kingwin for Charity Winter Edition 2015. We've had a couple of great series of games so far. We've had Amaz versus Naria in the round of 8, and we've also had our last match, which is Gara versus Firebat in the round of 8. We have our first semifinal determined right now, which is Naria versus Firebat, certainly very exciting. And we're about to find out our next semifinalist, who is going to be the winner of Kolento versus Hosty. But before we get into that, let's talk a bit about why we're doing this tournament. And it's obviously Kingwin for Charity, so a tournament for charity. What is the charity? It's going to be Child's Play, a foundation that helps to bring video games and toys to children in need in hospitals to just have them have a better time while in a pretty not ideal situation. Now, how can you donate to this charity?
There's
the
a
question
link.
noxious?
Yeah, it's the link in the description below. There's a link to kingwin.net/ for charity. You can just go there and see how it is. Now, you don't have to donate a huge amount. You know, every little bit helps. Donations will be appreciated nonetheless. It's not so much about the amount that you give. It's about the thought and the intention. And Child's Play Foundation, definitely one of the, as far as gaming is concerned, it's pretty close. It hits pretty close to home. So, look it up.
Yeah, we're all gamers at heart, so it's nice to be able to support little kids who might also become future gamers, or just kids that just want to have fun with toys.
Yep.
You know.
Let's do it.
All right, so Kolento versus Hosty. We're going straight into it right now.
Yeah, Kolento versus Hosty. I mean, Kolento last time we saw him play had a really interesting Warlock deck, which he's actually going to play first against Hosty here. I believe Kolento banned Hosty's Hunter, maybe a little bit because of this Warlock. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of like essentially a handlock, but also partly a zoo, but also partly like demon lock. So I think all of these decks are just kind of just weak to Hunter, and also Hunter is just a strong class overall. So this is fair enough.
Yeah, it's kind of funny the way you put it, because it's true that like Kolento's deck is basically, he took every deck and decided to cut every unnecessary card from each of those decks, and the end result is exactly this.
Yeah, I think also Shaman has a really good matchup against this this Warlock deck, just because there's these Earth Shocks, there's these Hexes in the Shaman. They can deal with like all these demons that come out and all these big threats.
Yeah, the ability to silence off a Void Caller, but then again, it's not as valuable as, because the strength I feel of Shaman is that against, let's say, Handlock, it's got Hexes. I mean, Earth Shocks for Twilight Drakes. Against, the Giants, it's got those Hexes. But against something like a mid-range Warlock-ish type of deck, what do you Earth Shock? At what point are you willing to Earth Shock? Mm-hmm. The question is a bit tougher at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you just have to go for those Twilight Drakes, obviously, that are in Kolento's hand. You have to go for those Void Callers. But we can see that there's not really any Hexes or Earth Shocks at all in Hosty's hand right now, and that's going to probably hurt him going into the next turn.
Kolento can start cycling his Void Callers. The first Void Caller brings a Void Caller who brings a Doom Guard. We're talking a lot about a lot of mana was saved in the process here.
Yeah, there's been so many card draws off this Manatide Totem, and usually that is like not Earth Shock and not Hex, but Manatide Totem is like the key card that can help you win this matchup, just because of all the card draws, which can help you, keep up with the Warlock hero power.
Yeah. So here, if you're Kolento, are you happy to just drop? But then again, you have to deal with that Manatide Totem in some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you go about it? Like, do you just play Twilight Drake and not trade with the Shredder with the 3/4?
Twilight Drake actually, to
it's
me,
a pretty
weak
play against Shaman.
Yeah, exactly. You just have like you just give your opponent an opportunity to kind of just get huge tempo lead. Trade 1 mana of theirs for 4 mana of yours, which is the 3 mana profit, 3 mana tempo swing.
And this is not even a good Shadow Flame turn. At least it doesn't feel that good. But then again, PO plus Shadow Flame. Like, you kill the Shredder, you attack the Golem, you Shadow Flame your Spiders. Or even your Void Caller.
Are we going to see, power plus Shadow Flame on the Creeper?
Yeah.
That's such an interesting turn.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely interesting turn. And this will allow Kolento to get a really nice board. Although it's very weak to Lightning Storm, he doesn't really care because he's got the Void Caller and the Doom Guard in hand right now.
It also really depends.
Ouch.
It's not even particularly that weak to Lightning Storm. I mean, Hosty definitely wants more value off of Lightning Storm right now.
Yeah, but I mean, looking at this board right now, I feel like Hosty's not going to commit a Lightning Storm just this early. There's no way. And this Earth Shock with a Spell Power Totem going to give incredible advantage here. I mean, sure now Kolento can justify playing a Twilight Drake, but look at the amount of cards he's got in hand. It's too low. It's way too low.
This is one of the rare circumstances where you'll see a Warlock player being out-carded by a Shaman player when he gets that mana tied out and there's no response.
Yeah, that's actually right. I don't think I've seen that in a long time. And interestingly enough, Hosty hasn't been on the overload at all so far.
Yeah, I think a lot of cards that were in that were pre-GVG that had overload from Shaman, they've been being cut from Shaman decks these days. Like, you don't see Lightning Bolt that much. Feral Spirits is being cut a lot in favor of the Power Mace. And no one really runs Lava Burst anymore, or even Doomhammer is becoming less popular.
Yeah.
So yeah, just overall, overload you're not very likely to see overload these days.
Yeah, it's a mechanic that's just not. It's a little underwhelming in and of itself. So you have to really have amazing value out of it. And I remember back in the closed beta, a lot of people were cutting Feral Spirits for Harvest Golems just because they seem to feel like Unbound Elemental, Harvest Golems, and Feral Spirits being kind of interchangeable. And I feel like we've reached a point where the card pool is big enough that you can justify cutting like the quote-unquote mandatory overload cards. Wow, this is that Floating Watcher actually really threatening.
The funny thing is, like, there's so many cards in Hosty's hand, but none of them have been that good against, like, Kolento is just overall a very strange board all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, the double Lightning Storm might come in the near future. And once that happens, the outcome could be very, very different. Like, once Kolento's board is wiped once, well, then again, there's no Hex to deal with the follow-ups. There's two Doomguards, which are going to discard one another. But then again, there's Sylvanas Shadowflame as well.
To be honest, I don't think Doomguards will ever be played in this game until the very, very end.
Yeah, definitely not, because Kolento wants to extract as much value out of them as he can, and at the moment, that is not possible.
It's just a weakness of this deck when the Void Colors don't bring out your Doomguards, I guess.
Yeah, we've seen that happen last time Kolento was playing. I forget against which deck specifically, but when you couldn't get the Doomguards and you only got the Floating Watchers, it was always a little bit troublesome. Kolento, I think, going for the right play here, which is don't try to extract too much value out of your Drake and try to put pressure with the Floating Watcher. Put your opponent in a position where he has to have Hex. And wow, just wow, what a weak turn here.
Kolento building his own giant.
Is the game over? Life tap 10, power overwhelming 4, dark bomb, Doomguard.
Wait,
it's not over, but it's pretty damn close. You could even Sylvanas PO just for the sake of it.
I think he's one off.
Yeah?
1, 2, 3. Yeah, he's either one mana off or one damage off.
One damage off. Yeah, it's one of the one or the other. Oh my god, what if he gets Hellfire? Jiraxxus.
Nope, that's not it.
So I think you Sylvanas and Power Overwhelm just to steal that Fire Elemental?
Yeah, it's a possibility. I guess I think you're just only afraid of Burst right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, with the Fire Elemental off the board, you take off the opportunity for 6 damage or even more if your opponent plays something weird like Wind Fury or Wind Speaker.
Wow, I did not expect Kolento to win this one. I thought the Hexes would come in a lot more handy than they did.
Yeah, if Hosty even drew 1 Hex, it would have changed the game completely.
Yeah, just 1 Hex would have completely been able to let him come back in the game and possibly even win. But right now with Doomguard, that's going to make Alakir completely worthless, and the game is gone. That's it.
Yep.
Wow.
Well,
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, there's actually no way. Like, I was thinking if Doomguard discards both Dark Bombs, but even in that scenario, he can just life tap, and this is fine too.
I think what you have to do is you have to double Dark Bomb yourself, and then you play Doomguard, you attack Alakir, and you attack for massive Floating Watcher value.
Yep. Now, at a 12-12 floating watcher. All right. Kolento is just showing us how it's done. Like showing us these cards that no one has ever used before, and he's like, okay, this card's pretty good. Let's make a 12-12 feature out of it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Floating Watcher is a card that has a lot of potential in a scenario like Arena. You don't expect it at all constructed, and I know that it's a good minion to get out. I mean, it's obviously much better than a Dread Infernal, right? Off of a Void Caller, but it's not exactly what I thought I'd see coming out of a Warlock constructed deck.
Oh yeah, definitely not. It's
Hell no.
yeah. Again, it's like Zoo. With the Nerubian Eggs plus Haunted Creepers plus Power Overwhelmings plus Abusive Sergeants plus Dark Iron Dwarf, and it's like Demon Lock with all those Void Callers, and then it's also like Handlock with the Twilight Drakes and with what Sylvanas. It's just such a strange deck.
Yeah, and I think GVG, maybe, do you think Floating Watcher was such an instrument? Like, I think Dark Bomb and Floating Watcher might be what's enabling this deck. Maybe not the Watchers themselves, but I think Dark Bomb is what's making this deck viable. Because I remember pre-GVG decks like these, which I used to call, Demon Hand Zoo, were simply not playable at all. They were simply complete crap.
All right, we're about to go in the next match. It's going to be Kolento versus Hosty once again, game 2. And Hosty will bring his mage, and judging by the opening hand, it's going to be a Freeze Mage.
Yeah, you can tell it's Freeze Mage at this point. And we saw, I think, Kolento last time face off against Freeze Mage, and I don't think he could get the lethal. His board was dealt with way too efficiently. I believe in the first matches that he had against, I believe, was it Kaldi?
No, he played against Kolento, and he lost, this deck lost to Paladin, actually.
Kolento?
Yeah, Kolento lost to, this deck lost to Paladin in the opening match. I mean, Zombie Chow, pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty much the optimal start. Doesn't get much better than that.
Lord Jiraxis, it's probably going to come very handy. I don't believe actually Kolento runs any heals in this deck, which will be a major issue.
We saw one heal bot, if I recall, but that was only the one.
Okay, one heal bot plus Jiraxis as your only heals. Still, okay, there it is. It's an important card to draw, but I still don't feel that's going to be enough.
Well, it will give you a lot. Oh, he's got a lot of stickiness though right now. If you, I mean, disregard the Zombie Chow, which actually, lucky for him, is not going to give his opponent any health back. Sometimes it can be important to burst the mage down a little bit faster than you'd like, because you're forced into the aggressive position all the time before he starts dealing with your board.
I think this Void Caller will actually, or two Void Callers will actually be like pretty big issues for the mage player, because Freeze Mages, they don't typically run Polymorph, and you can't really kill off this Void Caller without summoning a Doom Guard, so...
Well, what if Lord Jiraxis comes out, though?
Yeah, Lord Jiraxis, well, Lord Jiraxis is still like a fairly sticky minion that has 3 attack.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I know what you mean by the fact that you can't, like, heal yourself, but I feel like Lord Jiraxis in this matchup, even though it's a pseudo-heal, typically it doesn't win or lose games.
No, you'll be dead after it, generally speaking.
Yeah, once you spend a whole turn using Lord Jiraxis, like, your opponent will usually be able to deal 15 burst damage.
Yeah, and I mean, most Freeze Mages don't run Polymorphs anymore, so Jiraxis will be at 315 forever. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Shadow Flame brings out another Void Caller. I mean, it's alright. It's not as good as Doomguard, but not as bad as Lord Jiraxis, I would say. So, like, the middle option.
Yeah, and I think it's actually one of the... I mean, it's a better outcome than Jiraxis at this point. Because if you can get Jiraxis on your hero, you might as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Life tap with the coin here. Trying to get some better options, possibly burst. But now that he's trying to buffer the void, the floating watcher out of range of a flame strike is my guess.
Mm-hmm. I think Hosty will probably have to use a fireball here. He saw like how big the floating watcher could get. Like now that I think of it, floating watcher is actually like a really dangerous card in this matchup, because even if you keep freezing, the floating watcher just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and you're never going to be able to AoE it down after it just grows so fast all the time. Yeah,
without polymorphs, it's really one of those problematic things. I mean, polymorph has been phased out so much nowadays.
Yeah, Defender Vargas, why not? That's like the zoo component of this deck.
And now
or the handlock component, I guess.
it depends how you want to put it. Yeah.
Like on the board right now, you can kind of think of it as the Nubian Egg is the zoo component, the Defender of Argus is the handlock component, and the Void Caller is
Void
the
Caller
demon
is
lock.
the demon lock component. Yeah. Like a mix of the 3 decks right now. You have a bit of an overlap though, Defender and Zoo and handlock. But wow, that is so. I mean, the mage's hand is still really strong regardless. Oh yeah, okay, the game is. I mean, is it over?
Does,
No, it's
does
not
he even?
yet, but...
He
The
didn't play
anti-kill
Acolyte,
bot-
but does he actually need more cards?
I wouldn't ping this. Okay, yeah, I thought he was gonna ping it. No,
Yeah.
no. I don't think you can afford to ping it. I think it's almost too dangerous. Oh, Sneed's old Shredder is going to be sticky.
Just like Undertaker. Oh no, Undertaker's icky. My bad.
Okay, so Alex Shaw's on the handlock, which is going to snowball because I think is this an ice block? I mean, it came out that the mad scientist, so statistically, yeah, it didn't trigger off of the attack,
Yeah,
so it's definitely
exactly.
ice block.
It's definitely ice block. But anti-heal bot will give Kolento 1 more turn to survive.
Alright.
So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's only 15 damage on board.
So you have to
And-
anti-kill bot at least, and
Yeah.
do you BGH? I think you have to BGH because Shadow Flame. There's nothing in the Shadow Flame that's going to be helpful right now.
Mhm.
Like you could Shadow Flame, but it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I like BGH here. BGH heal bot.
Get yourself
Um,
out of range of instant lethals, and then the opponent will have to work harder. But between Archmage and Tinnitus and the double Frost Nova on following turns, I mean, then again, the Archmage comes down, Shadow Flame deals with it. Dark Iron Dwarf, Shadow Flame. Buffs up the Sneeds, and then...
Kolento is kind of lucky, Hosty is kind of lucky that Kolento doesn't have the power overwhelmings in his hand right now. Because
Yeah.
if he did, he would probably be able to burst down this ice block, I guess.
Yeah, at least for this turn, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, he's trying to overdraw the Mage.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
Alright, let's see what Kolento loses. If he loses Ice Block, this could be a big deal. Oh! Oh no! Hosty's Ice Block is gone. Oh, goodness.
Well, that
This is
happened-
exactly what
that
I was
happened to
afraid
work
of
out
for
perfectly.
Hosty. Oh, Hosty, why did you play that Acolyte? You did not need it. Youch. You did not heed the warning. I think he'll have to just go face with Fireballs all the way now. And try to hope for that Frostbolt, Ice Lance, and Pyroblast. Because he's alive this turn. Wait. No, Doomguard. Well, Dark Bomb first, Doomguard, pop the block. And then... Yeah, I mean, Sneeze dies and you're good. Void Caller dies. Doesn't matter, you've got Jiraxis. So he has to win this turn. Or, well then again, no. He has to win... He has to win in 2 turns, which I think he can do actually. With Frostbolt Ice Lances, if he finds those.
Is he? He's gonna.
Yeah,
Okay, he's just gonna Frostbolt Ice Lance face.
yeah. And set up
Fair
a... He
enough.
wins with Pyroblast from the following turn, and that's the game.
But there is Jiraxis. You have to remember.
Yeah, but there's an Ice Barrier, so that won't do it.
Was a mistake.
Yeah, but
Wait.
is that enough heal? Like Jiraxis brings you to 15.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's the health. Yeah, but never mind. You're right. Okay, yeah, Jiraxis healing you up.
Yeah,
It is
this
going
is-
to be the determinant component of that turn, basically.
Yeah, I was saying that Jiraxis usually the heal doesn't matter because the Freeze Mage at this point usually has Frostbolt, Ice Lance, Fireball.
Yeah, but
yeah,
now
this-
that didn't work out. So I think Kolento said that was a mistake. Speaking of, why did you Frostbolt me here? But now, then again, there's another Frost Nova here. Going to be another very important card.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a nail biter.
Yeah, I think you attack the Void Caller, see what comes out, then Archmage Nova, and try to set up lethal from there.
Mhm.
That's pretty much your only real win condition if you think about it. Unless you're afraid of Siphon Soul, which I guess you are because you've seen already. I think he's seen one already.
Yeah, Siphon Soul.
I mean, there is no demon coming out, so...
Is there a Siphon Soul in this deck? Like, are you sure there's Siphon Soul in this deck?
I think he's running one of them, but I might just be wrong.
Well, I think definitely we're gonna see Archmage.
And Nova, yeah.
Yeah, Nova.
Wow. Well, if he does that, then he could just win the game outright. Because unless Kolento finds an answer... Oh wait, Iron Beak Cowl. That would be lethal. Silence is lethal. Yep. BGH, that is... Whoa! Wait, I have an idea. Power Overwhelm your Sneeze.
Wait,
and then you kill it, you get King Crush, then you win.
Yeah, I think, well...
It's obviously less consistent, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Or like, you could have even Dark Iron Dwarfed your Sneeds.
Yeah, just BGH and get King Crush and win. And again, the freeze is going to save the day, once again. Still no kill coming from Kolento at this point. And this is a Blizzard Fireball turn into Pyroblast, and the game is over at that point.
Yeah, once again, Kolento just has to draw his silence, and he'll win this game. But if he doesn't, then Hosty will win. So is this a silence?
It is not. Wow, Hosty takes the game. There is nothing Kolento can do here.
Well,
wait,
Power Overwhelm
your Sneeze. What could you get? Mal'Ganis.
Mal'Ganis,
right?
yes.
Okay, this is an attempt from Kolento at trying to get the one card. The one card that could save him. And if it works...
How epic would that be if he actually got Mal'Ganis?
What is the card that Kolento gets?
Come on.
Mukla, that is no help. And Pyroblast will take Jiraxis down. And wow, that was a really tense game. I mean, after that Ice Block got popped, Hosty must have been panicking.
Yeah, when the Ice Block got this card in the second one, Hosty was like, oh no, that's like only way to survive.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So wow, that's that was really, really close. And Hosty took the game. Wow, I'm actually really impressed. Well played by both players, but Kolento could have had this game. I don't know how many silences he's running in his deck, but I wouldn't doubt that there was a good possibility that Lethal was in his range there.
Well, now that I think about it, there probably is only one silence in Kolento's deck, because typically you run 2 Iron Beak Owls just because your opponent, or just because you also run the Ancient Watchers in your deck as the handlock player. And there's no Ancient Watchers in this deck, so probably you don't. It's not necessary for you to run two owls.
Yeah, I remember we had that realization the first time we saw Kolento's deck, I think, when we tried to figure out, like, what did he cut to put all these things in? And we came upon the realization that probably one Iron Beak Owl must have been thrown out in order to make room for some of those quirky cards like Floating Watcher, for instance, which is a really... I like that he's not, that he tried to make a Warlock deck that was handlock in a way that didn't run Giants. Yeah,
it's, as I was saying in the last cast, like, there's people who see handlock as a really strong deck, but they don't want to run the 8/8s that are so vulnerable to the typical BGHs these days. So one solution that a player had, the player by the name of Zalay, he had was basically turning the Warlock deck into an OTK deck. But
with the Arcane Golems and whatnot.
But yeah, enough about Warlock. Let's go into the next match with Freeze Mage versus Druid.
Yeah, depending on the amount of combos here, this could be either unbelievably quick and one-sided for the Druid, or pretty tough. And the double Keeper of the Grove is going to be very important against the Doomsayer board-wise, are going to be attempted by the Mage throughout the game.
Yeah, typically how you win this matchup as the Freeze Mage is that you get one good Doomsayer off, and your opponent just can't put enough pressure back on the board. But with this, oh wow, and with Wild Growth as well. With Wild Growth and double Keeper of the Grove, I see this being a very uphill battle for Hosty.
Yeah, depending on how he gets things done. I mean, he's got the Mad Scientist, he's got one Blizzard already set up. If he puts down the Ice Barrier next turn, then the Ice Block is guaranteed to come out from the Mad Scientist. Whoa. Okay, the Silence comes down from Kolento.
Yeah. That's alright.
Okay, I'm assuming it's alright. That's not at all what I expected. Not at all.
Yeah, I probably, myself, I would have saved the Keeper for Doomsayers, but I think this is... He can't know that his opponent has 2 Doomsayers, and this is more of like an aggressive play.
Yeah, he's trying to go all in on the aggression, try to get the freeze mage down before anything goes, which is from Kolento I think it's one of the weird approaches. I rarely see him go full aggression. He tends to be very conservative that is with his plays.
Yeah, definitely. Kolento is one of the players who will more likely than not trade rather than decide to turn on all the aggression and go for face.
Yeah, and like we're looking at his hand right now, he must be feeling fairly confident that his one Keeper of the Grove will be enough. He's thinking to himself, the odds of him having 2 Doomsayers are fairly slim, so I'm not going to play around 2 of them. But I can't help but feel that this is maybe a bit of a bad assumption to make.
Well, Shade is going to come on the board, and it's going to be a little weak to Blizzard, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could Frost Nova Doomsayer right now and follow up with Blizzard, so... I don't think it gets clearer than this as far as a Nova board. And now Kolento's going to feel fine with a Keeper.
Yeah, this is kind of weak to... Well, I guess you can always chain Blizzard into Flame Strike.
Yeah, that's what you want to do at this point, definitely.
Yeah, I thought originally like Blizzard would be better because you want to kill the Shade immediately. But yeah, Blizzard and his Flame Strike will more than keep this Shade alive.
Another Frost Nova for the other Doomsayer, and now Kolento is not going to like this.
Yeah, this
is punishing him for
pretty good draw.
Yep, definitely. And now Kolento is forced in a position of, having to be a little passive. I think he's going to try to Savage Roar swipe to kill that Doomsayer. Just get it out of the way to make sure that the opponent has to have more freezes, more board wipes in his hand to deal with it.
Yeah, I didn't see that initially, actually, but yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, you've got to be hoping that the opponent does not have a Flame Strike, though. And, well...
This is probably the
ultimate Flame Strike. I mean...
Although, you could actually consider just Blizzarding this turn.
And get more Flame Strike value afterwards?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I originally wanted to say this is like the most obvious Flame Strike ever. But now that I look at it, I think Blizzard is a better play here.
We could just Blizzard afterwards, and on the next board that, threatens you. You even get to develop secrets in the meantime.
I guess maybe Hosty was, he was a little worried about Lotheb.
Yeah, that would have been really problematic. Oh, wow, yeah. Alright, so we're looking at a... So the Druid has replenished his hand. They've both used, the double Doomsayer, double Keeper of the Grove are out of the way. So all that's left between Kolento and the victory is Ice Blocks and Ice Barriers. There is no more board wipes outside of like Blizzards and Flame Strikes, which essentially deny a lot of the tempo for the mage.
Yeah, Hosty just getting those secrets down. Hosty is at an amazingly like 27 HP on turn 10 for the Druid. That's something you'd never see.
It's not something I would expect at all at any point. Ooh, double Innervate. Are we going to see a double combo play? I don't even know if I mean, I'm assuming there's at least one combo, but 2 of them, I would really doubt it. And he fetches for those cards. He just tries to get as much possible cards as he can.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's double combo. It's like there's also Sledge Belchers in this deck.
Yep.
So Kolento is definitely like a bit more defensive than usual. If Kolento were going full out aggro, there would be what's it called? There would be Spectral Knights in it as well.
Yep.
Well, and Kolento playing around that Cone of Cold.
Yeah, but now the coin Ice Block is going to give 2 Fireballs to Hosty, who only has to find Alex Strauss at this point. He's gonna get, 5 health, well, 3 to 5 health back from the Zombie Chow if he gets sacrificed.
I think at this point you have to clear the Archmage Antonized.
It's
and
not,
I think right now you probably want to also sacrifice the Zombie Chow because your opponent is at 27 health, which means he'll regain only 3 health instead of the usual 5 that you regain from Zombie Chow.
So Zombie Chow and Swipe, because you have a Drake for 5 damage from Swipe. So you Zombie Chow the Archmage, then swipe it, and then you go full face. And you'll force the opponent to use, hopefully, some of his fireballs on your minions. Yeah, if you play Sludge Belcher as Kolento as well, I mean, you can always just maintain, you have more stickiness. If you wipes your board, at least you can get more Savage Roar value.
This is like one of those turns where I fully expect Kolento to do something completely different. And
Yeah,
then, like,
that's what
and
he
then-
always does. I don't,
and then
I don't
like
know.
one turn later, we're like, okay, I see why he did that, and that's like really smart. But no, I think he's gonna go with the play we said.
Okay.
I was looking forward to being amazed by Kolento, but it's not the case for.
Yeah, he's gonna
this
go
time.
even for the aggressive Druid of the Claw and just try to get as much damage in right now. And actually, Hosty is in a position where he needs the removal right now,
Oh,
and he can't
Cone of
afford to
Cold.
turn on the aggressive gears at all. That Cone of Cold.
Oh, and
holy hell.
Blizzard.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, he'll even be able to follow up with a Cone of Cold next turn.
Kolento must have been hoping for Savage Roar here, try to get that first Ice Block popped.
Mhm.
Didn't find it though.
Now, were both Blizzards used, or was that the first Blizzard?
That was the first one, the one that's been held on to for the longest time. Kolento not playing the Powder Shredder, wants to get rid of the Blood Mage Thalnos to prevent another really effective AoE. Maybe deny some of the Cone of Cold value that we know Hosty is going to be trying to get next turn.
Pyroblast, not great.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could Cone of Cold and Fireball something, I guess. I mean, you could ping the 4-1.
I think you sacrifice the Loot Hoarder first, see what you draw.
Yeah.
Frostbolt,
Whoa.
not really that useful.
Yeah, you can't kill your opponent in one turn. You'd have to get another Ice Block to do so. I think playing the Mad Scientist and double Fireballing Face is almost a play since you've seen 2 silences. And
Well,
then
the
all you
thing
have
is-
to do is get the second Ice Block and Frostbolt, Ice Lance, Fireball, and then Pyroblast on the following turn. It almost feels like that's a play I would consider if I were Hosty.
The thing is, I believe the Mad Scientist won't get any Secret out because,
Yeah, if it's killed first, but definitely.
I think the Mad Scientist, both Ice Barriers have been played, right?
Yeah, both of them are. The only secret that this can get is Ice Block at the moment. And there's no more silence to deny that. Ooh, is that enough to pop? It's not even enough to pop the block. It's close, but not quite. He's got only 11 damage here.
This game is looking to be fairly close as well.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But I feel like ultimately Hosty with his second Ice Block is going to have... But then again, he won't have it because he's got it still up. So I think Kolento is capitalizing on the fact that he'll have it next turn and then...
Oh, there it is.
Whoa, 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 whoa. This is bad.
Pyroblast to face. Hosty hasn't. Alex Straza would have probably been the best draw this turn, and the next turn he could have drawn Ice Block.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's all about fireballing to the face.
Yeah, you just fireball, frostbolt, or just fireball, pass, frostbolt, ice lance, and you win. I mean, Antique Healbot would be an amazing draw here for Kolento, but he's running Sludge Belchers and 2 of them, so probably no room for another 5-drop for healing purposes as far as defensive plays.
There's not really too much to say about this turn. It's basically Kolento will pop the Ice Block, try to clear off as much of the board as possible, hero power to gain that 1 armor, and then just survive as long as possible, I guess.
Yeah, Kolento, I mean, there's very little Kolento can even try to do at this point. He knows it's all about the solitaire. Does Hosty have a good solitaire hand or not? I mean, I think he's planning ahead on the off chance that his opponent doesn't have the second block. Like, if he doesn't have block, then what could he have? Then that's Blizzard, Flame Strike, yada yada. Wants to make sure that he can still win if that's the case.
Kolento is cutting it a bit close this turn.
Yeah. He's queued up his attacks, though, I believe, so he'll be fine. I think he's trading away a minion for that Mad Scientist. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there is no need for...
That's strange. He just basically is betting that his opponent does have Ice Block, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. So why did he trade away the Ice Barrier right after? Or sorry, why did he trade into the Mad Scientist after he popped the block? Like if Hosty didn't draw the didn't have ice block in his hand, then he would have essentially given him the ice block.
Yeah, but I guess he could have had it anyway by attacking into Sludge Belcher. He didn't really see it as a big difference in the.
Well, no, he could have
the
attacked
outcome.
into it first before popping the ice block.
Okay, yeah, just deny him the possibility of getting it for free. Okay, yeah.
Anyway, Hosty wins.
Yep. Yeah, Hosty wins, and Kolento just realizes. I mean, he realized it over the course of the past few turns that there was no way for him to win this. He played it very aggressively, which is something I don't expect very often of Kolento. And this makes me wonder. I mean, Freeze Mage being back makes me wonder if sometimes a single Kazan Mystic in Druid decks wouldn't be a game winner. Just it's a game winning, like it's a tech that just wins games straight up.
Yeah, and not only are the Kazan Mystics good for Mage, which is a very popular class at the moment, they're good for Hunter as well. And
Yeah, just a
winning
single one.
against exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. Freeze Mage is so popular nowadays that even Mill Mage is popular. You can still duplicate. I mean, a Druid with duplicate. Oh goodness.
Oh baby.
Yeah, yeah. That the value is incredible because you generally suffer from card draw until you can get your Ancients of Lore. So if you can get yourself two mid-range minions, that'd be pretty solid.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine getting like two extra Kel'Thazods.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be absolutely disgusting. So we have the next deck here from Kolento going to be a Hunter. So it's going to be Hunter against Freeze Mage, which I would venture to say is generally favored in for the Hunter. They have enough aggression potential to be able to snowball before the Mage can stabilize and just turn the gears for him to use spells on the Hunter's face. So
Yeah, sometimes the Mage player, as the Freeze Mage player, you just can't deal with what the Hunter brings to you. Like
Yeah.
a really early Undertaker can just snowball too hard, and if you don't have the Frost Bolts, you can just never clear it basically.
yeah, sometimes you even have to like Doomsay your turn 2, or just as soon as you can, just because if he doesn't have Iron Beak Owl, at least you get a little bit of breathing room.
Mhm.
It's really weird to see that, but a turn 2 under Doomsayer against Hunter is not unheard of, not at all.
Yeah, in fact, a very common play, probably the
Yep.
most common turn too.
Which is something I didn't think I'd expect because you generally look at Doomsayer as a combo card, but against Hunter it just makes too much sense. It slows them down, forces them, if they don't have the Iron Beak Owl, to just stop whatever they're doing.
All right, we're going into the next game between Kolento and Hosty, Hunter versus Freeze Mage.
Yep, there's the Undertaker and the Undertakers and the Iron Beak Owl in Kolento's hand. I don't think it gets much better than this.
Well, Kolento could draw into a Death Rattle. That might be a little better, right?
No, I don't know. Would it? Would it be?
Probably slightly.
I guess it could. I don't know. I just double Undertaker, Iron Beak Owl. I mean, getting 2 Undertakers makes your next Death Rattle so much stronger.
Oh, he's gonna go with the Juggler play.
Oh, that's dull.
No,
He doesn't
I
want.
actually like this. I think most players would play double Undertaker, but without a guaranteed Death Rattle in hand, this is, I guess, more guaranteed damage.
Yeah, but I guess the Iron Beak Owl also makes this like you don't have to force the opponent to Doomsayer very early. You can just try to establish a stronger board and then snowball off of there as soon as he tries to Doomsay you.
The more I think about it, the more I really like this, because you
Yeah.
basically, let me think about it a bit. There's pretty much no way in which this does less damage than double Undertaker,
Exactly.
unless your opponent has like a Frostbolt.
Yeah, but
Um,
that's also good for you because wow, that is
Yeah.
not what I was expecting off of a single juggler.
No, I like that actually. You just, again, like you said, you give your opponent, if he doesn't have the Iron Beak Owl, you give yourself a little more breathing room. But unfortunately, the owl does come down. All right.
Wow.
Not bad.
Okay, this makes that the juggler is almost a liability in this case. I mean, you'll have to trade into it first with the Eagle Hornbow, I'm guessing. Because if you play things without trading, I mean, if you attack the Acolyte of Pain with your juggler, then the drawback is obviously that it'll just ping the juggler off or Kona Cold it. So
I think Kolento is gonna just play.
double Undertaker.
Yeah. Seems pretty strong. It is a bit weak to Kona Cold though, so let's see how Kolento positions to this Cone play.
He puts every weak thing to Cone of Cold on one side. And I guess he forces his opponent to play Cone of Cold, basically. Maybe that's a part of the plan. Because he's getting a beast off of the web spinner, and he thinks that might just be sufficient to keep going.
Is that the best positioning?
I don't think it is. I think an Undertaker mixed somewhere in there would have been slightly better. Just force put a little bit of spread. Maybe Undertaker on each side. I don't know. But then again, you still... maybe Undertaker in the middle between Iron Beak and web spinner. That way, at least the juggler...
Well, nevertheless, there's pretty decent amount of options this turn. You could either Cone or Frost Nova, or sorry, Cone or Frostbolt Ping.
Yeah, I was gonna say Frostbolt Ping seems like a very strong play.
Or you can even drop another Doomsayer and just hope it absorbs 7 damage.
Oh, it will absorb 7 damage. I mean, there's no way the Hunter doesn't attack this.
What to do?
If it is played, it's essentially another Ice Barrier, but...
Unfortunately, Ping Doomsayer leaves 7 power on the board, which doesn't... Like, if it left you with 6 power on the board, there's like a hope that the Doomsayer might just clear the board, but...
Yeah.
This is altogether pretty hopeless.
Yeah, this is definitely just another Ice Barrier if he plays it that way. So Frostbolt Pink is going to be the play that he opts for, which I think is very good, since it leaves 3 minions on the board, which your Cone of Cold can negate if no more come down.
Yeah, that's I like that play a lot. Again, it takes the most damage off the board. You don't have to Cone of Cold because you can always just use it later on to stall. Like, you can Cone this turn if you want.
Yeah, and it's pretty much it's arguably stronger. Ooh, wow.
There's just so many options.
Yeah, there are many, many options, but think about the turn 6. I mean, Cone of Cold, Doomsayer could be played if you wanted. Acolyte of Pain, Ping the Owl could be somewhat viable. Because you're guaranteed to get card draw. You're not afraid of dying just yet.
Yeah, Hosty has drawn pretty well. He's gotten both Doomsayers, a lot of freezes, his Frostbolts, and he might just be able to stem the aggression from the Hunter with his hand.
It's all about, I mean, once that high main comes down, though.
Okay.
Alright, so he goes for the Doomsayer play right now. Which means he's trying to slow down his opponent, but what was he expecting on turn 5? That would have fallen down.
I think probably Lotheb is your biggest concern. And if he this basically blocks the Lotheb turn. So if he had Lotheb, he wouldn't be able to play it. And if you didn't do this play and he Lotheb, you would be in like
the world of hurt. Yeah, there's no real way to stabilize after that, because you'd be down to like 4 health without Ice Block up. Like, there's no Ice Block up right now for Hosty. That's got to be like one of his priorities at the moment.
Also, there's a Tundra Rhino that came out of the web spinner, which is, I think, a really big draw.
It'll be useful. I mean, I guess you have to play it now, because on the options that Savannah Highmane manages to come out, like, you can use the web spinner and the bow.
I actually like this a lot because
wow,
this is incredible. Like, you think just auto drop Highmane, but this is really good because typically, like, freeze mages, they just freeze the board, and you can't really freeze this effect from the Tundra right now.
Yeah, I almost feel like you have to Cone of Cold Ice Lens that Tundra. It's so bad. And if you attack with the Acolyte, you know you're giving him card draw, which you can't do. Alright, well...
this game is over.
This is a good game. This is brought to you by Huntertown.
This is brought to you by Charging Savannah Highmane.
Oh, this is incredible. It reminds me of the days of Sunshine Hunter, when some people used to put in a Tundra Rhino baseline just as a card, but just doesn't exist anymore.
This was hilarious. I really wish we could see Hosty's face.
Oh, Kolento's Hungry Crab BM.
Kolento's so happy with himself. Look at him smiling.
Oh, Kolento smiling about the Hungry Crab. Eating away at the mage's face. Not a single Murloc was seen that day. And Hosty actually losing to Hunter is something that I don't think it's very unusual, so not exactly surprised here. But the lack of Ice Block was absolutely excruciating. Like, just getting a single Mad Scientist might have made the difference.
Yeah, Ice Block or Ice Barrier both would have been very good cards. That was actually, despite how quickly it ended, it looked like a fairly close game.
Yeah,
if the Tundra Rhino wasn't drawn, or if that Savannah Highmane were a different card, it might have just gone Hosty's way.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, getting that. I mean, that 6 damage instant is just incredible. The thing is, I feel like there could have been a Cone of Cold plus Ice Lance play instead of the Arcane Intellect that Hosty did the last turn, just to make sure that the Tundra Rhino would not give charge to anything. Do you think that was a bit risky?
I feel like that was probably not the play to win. Like, just Cone of Colding plus Ice Lancing, a simple 2/5 creature, doesn't seem like it just feels like you're giving up too much resources to clear the board at that point, and you might have needed additional. You just might have needed to play a bit risky.
Yeah, I guess he did, but it would have killed the Web Spinner and killed the Tundra Rhino. But then again, if he, as you say, if it's not a play to win, it would have maybe just extended the game unnecessarily. So Hosty's gonna have to move on to his Warrior deck against Hunter.
Yeah, well, this matchup, unfortunately, it's about, do you have War Axe? Do you have Cruel Taskmaster? If not, and your opponent has Undertaker, you might just lose the game.
Yeah, it's very hard to trade positively with the Undertaker, and there's no Undertaker in Kolento's hand, so Hosty's got to be happy about this a little bit.
Yeah, but at the same time, also Kolento missed his 1-drop, but at the same time, this Spellbreaker is an interesting card that I want to touch up on. Spellbreaker versus Owl is often a debate in both Warrior and Paladin. Which one of the silences do you use? And typically the answer has been the Ironbeak Owl, simply because Owl is just simply a much better card against Hunters. You can play it on turn 2 against Undertaker, whereas Spellbreaker, it's so clunky and it takes up a full turn, and you generally can't use it against Undertaker until turn 4.
Yeah, and it's about basically smoothing out your curve, which Ironbeak Owl allows you to do, and Spellbreaker just doesn't. It's like a whole turn for that one play, in many ways. Alright, so the Execute went down on Huffer, which actually got the Acolyte of Pain kill. I think that ended up being pretty good here for Hosty. He's got a pretty decent hand, but, I mean, how does he deal with that Misha just yet? I mean, armoring up and killing that Undertaker might just be too appealing to pass.
That's a pretty good draw.
Yep.
Shield block into shield slamming the Misha, I'd say, is probably a better play.
I mean, you could develop your board and be a little bit more threatening with a Piloted Shredder, because you do force him to deal with it somewhat ineffectively, or inefficiently, rather.
I feel like the problem is that the Misha trading into the Armor Smith is just not a trade you want to face.
Yeah, but you're gonna get like no armor off of it. But being proactive with a Piloted Shredder could have its merits.
That's interesting. I would have definitely gone for the shield block, shield slam play.
Ouch. Ouch. Oh no.
Well,
oh
Kolento,
no.
He had a fairly weak turn 1, but now he's curving fairly perfectly, I would say.
Fairly perfectly, yes. I would tend to agree with you here. There's Savannah Highmane coming up, and unfortunately... Okay,
yeah.
Wow.
Another problem here is that you didn't shield block, shield slam, so you can't even do it this turn.
What is he even hoping for? Unstable Ghoul? Pint-sized Summoner? Nothing.
Yeah, Unstable Ghoul, or Explosive Sheep, maybe? I don't know.
Bluegill Warrior would have been amazing. Kill that Undertaker right away.
Yeah. Doomsayer, maybe?
Well, you just tank 7 damage. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what Warrior wants. It tanks 7 damage and allows him to transition afterwards. Yeah, I think that would have been pretty good. So now Kolento's got to be thinking about his plays, because he everything revolves around Undertaker right now. His entire turn revolves around whether or not he wants to buff it further, or not. Because I mean, he's got what it takes to follow up as far as damage output goes, but
I like just a simple high main here, because I guess it plays more around Brawl. I'm not really sure.
No, it definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on the amount of shield slamming you expect.
And I think one question is, after you play the high main, do you trade your Undertaker into the Pint-sized Summoner, or do you trade the Mad Scientist?
I think I would tend to go for the Undertaker. I don't really see the point of trading the Mad Scientist in this position.
Or do you go straight for face, everything to face, like a true hunter?
I mean, I don't really see the point of trading the Mad Scientist around, because what kind of charge man do you expect? Like, what are you expecting from the Warrior at this point? Cleaves? Whirlwinds? Whirlwind Cruel Task, maybe that's why he didn't trade the Undertaker away, because that would have killed the.
Your magic shall not save.
Huh. I don't actually know.
Well, you know what?
Quite
Actually, Kolento is getting
Amazing board presence right now.
but the shield block into double shield slam next turn will be pretty good.
Yeah, this is a freezing trap or a snake trap, since the explosive trap can be played, so we at least have that information. And you're right, the shield block double shield slam is going to be a tremendous help here to Hosty. I mean, he's gonna take a lot of damage though. I mean, look at the board right now.
Yeah,
There's so much of it.
There's always the Amaz rule of, or Amaz's high main rule, which is if high main ever gets a shot to face, you automatically win the game. So let's see if that's true here.
Oh, that's Amaz's rule. I have the exact same one. I've been saying that for ages. I've been saying, you know, if you get hit in the face once with Hyman, you've lost. And I'm glad somebody else thinks so. It seems to be a trend.
How do you know Amaz didn't steal that from you?
Oh,
You should've-
wow. That's so deep.
You should have copyrighted it.
Yeah, I should probably copyrighted it. But I'm glad we at least agree on that. I feel like that's always the case. Whenever I get hit in the face with Hyman, I lose. And I used to say that you start the game on 20 health against a hunter because of kill command, but that is less and less true as time passes. They've had to modify their approach a little bit.
All right, so 11 health for the warrior on turn 7. Okay, so Hosty's just gonna check for the trap. He's gonna gain some armor.
You know you have to shield slam an Undertaker, and that can't feel right. I mean, this just.
Yeah, I guess you do shield slam the Undertaker.
Oh no. I think this is the exact reason why that card is getting nerfed on Tuesday. I don't even know when is it getting nerfed, by the way. I don't
know. It's just
Okay.
I'd say Tuesday. Usually the patches come on Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah, it's the new month of February, so it's gonna be there for the new ladder season. So now Hosty's like either face desking at the thought of killing Undertaker with shield slam, or trying to mitigate one more damage from that Lothab.
Okay, so he does go for the Lothab, and I guess it's because
He can silence it off.
he can silence it, but that's like a 6-mana silence. Do you really want to do that?
Well, you can armor up right afterwards, so I guess you're okay with that. Oh, is that lethal though? Web spinner kill command?
Let's see.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah,
Oh, well, no,
it is.
he's one off, right? Is he one
Yeah.
off? He's one off lethal.
Oh,
He is indeed, but I mean, Shield Maiden into nothingness.
well, I think Kolento miscalculated it.
That's possible. I mean, you have to Shield Maiden and armor up here and attack that 1/1 web spinner and hope for the best. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but you're still dead, so it doesn't matter. All right, well, the game is over. Unfortunately, there is no way for Hosty to heal out of range of lethal here that I know of.
I do not know of a way either. So
Yeah. I mean, one more mana would have allowed Alex if that had existed. But another interesting one would have been Dr. Boom, armor up, attack into explosive trap, let the Boom Boss do what they do, and hope for the best again. Oh, but that would have left at least 1 minion up, so.
8.
5, 6, 7, 8, and the game is over. Garrus chooses death, which puts Hosty in the position of dying. So Kolento takes the game again. No Hunter banned.
Yeah, that was such a devastating win from, or devastating loss rather from Hosty. He had a 2-1 series lead, and he was so close to beating Kolento, who's regarded as one of the world's best players, if not the best player in the world. But
Yeah.
Hosty just couldn't close it out.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter is showing just how good it is still after the nerfs that it's undergone over the past few months. So that hasn't changed. Still one of the top, if not the top class at the moment, according to most of the players right now. Firebat might have a word about that in his Druid with Undertakers. But as far as others, you know, we've seen on just Hunters. How far are they now? Like 11-1? 12-1 in the tournament at this point. I think they've suffered one loss. It's
Something
incredible.
crazy like that. I think Rio won the only game against Hunter with a non-Hunter class.
Exactly. So that was pretty good on this part. So we'll be back, guys, after the break. We'll be gone for 10 minutes. We'll be casting Masan versus Thais. which will be a pretty interesting game as well. So I hope you guys stick around. Don't go anywhere.